Welcome back to another episode of TableTalk Friday, a D&D podcast. I'm your host, Oswin Alemaker, and I just wanted to tell you about three boys who love to talk about D&D. If you like their style, you should follow them on any podcast service you prefer, and come back every Friday for a new episode. And without any further ado, back to the boys.
Okay, boys, so I am genuinely curious about something. Drew's girlfriend, Eric, told me a long time ago about, when Halsey was performing at the Verizon Amphitheater. And now you've just told me that Kevin Hart is performing soon, and you guys are going to see him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great.
What I'm curious about is, I have never been in the know about when events like this are going on. How do you find out? I have no idea how people know that concerts are going on or how people know that shows are going on in the area. And I would like to know when things are happening around me that I'd like to do.
Well, I'd like to say that, I'm super in the know, and I just know everything that's going on. But in reality, I was sitting on the couch scrolling through YouTube shorts when I should not have. I decided to quit doing that. It's, I'll just do one more thing on my phone because I'm a responsible adult. I clicked on a Facebook post from my mother. I liked it because I'm a good boy. And then I kept scrolling, and I saw that, wow, Kevin Hart's in town next week. Let's go hang out with him. And that's how it went.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Facebook is good for almost nothing, but if there are live events in your area, they do know where you live. So they'll advertise those.
So you're telling me it's Facebook. It's how you guys normally find out.
Yeah, I when I went to go see John Mulaney, I didn't purchase the tickets, so I couldn't tell you. But you can also, Google someone, and maybe you're looking up something special, and then you just happen to see in like the news section, oh, there's a show going on. I've had that come up before.
That's the thing,
too.
because there's a lot of like smaller artists and people that I don't listen to on the regular that if they were in town, I would go see them, And I find out that they're in town the day they're in town. Or like someone told me, last year, hey, Hamilton is showing. And I thought, oh, I'd love to see Hamilton. When is it? Oh, it's tonight. I'm like, well, I can't do it tonight. And so... And I don't go on Facebook ever. Like, I'll open it and check my notifications because I have notifications turned off for Facebook just because I was never interested in hearing anything from Facebook again, like 2 or 3 years ago. And I was like, I think I'm done with this. And so I turned notifications off. So I'll open it every now and then because for my job, we have a Facebook page that we post updates on for our competitive team. And that's the only reason I open Facebook now. And on my birthday, I open it to see who said hi to me because everyone does that.
Well, now you got 2 reasons. And if you scroll for, 3 seconds, you'll probably find something.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better because that kind of puts me back down to a root area. Like a root cause is something that I don't use ever. I was genuinely curious, though, because I hear about people going to do, like, those people that go to concerts all the time. I'm assuming they just know who's going to be in town when, right? Like, they research that stuff.
Yeah, well, if you're really into that, like, there's also groups and shit, and, like, I think Facebook does know your preferences based on, like, the things that you interact with and that sort of thing. So I'm in a couple groups for theater folk in the general area, so I think that probably feeds into the kinds of ads I get too.
Wonder if there's like a D&D group in our area, like a Facebook group of like people who play D&D together a lot.
I'm sure there are. I
want to be in charge of it.
Yeah. Go ahead and start it.
I've decided I want to be in charge of it.
Do you think Kevin Hart plays D&D?
No, absolutely not. That man's never seen a D20.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. Unless it was for work.
I'm going to ask him next week, and I'll tell you guys the answer.
I will give you $100 if you send me a picture or like a little clip of you asking Kevin Hart if he's ever played D&D.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, if you just happen to walk upon him, I'm serious. I'll give you $100.
Where are your seats?
Close enough. Yeah,
you
definitely.
can see him from a mile away.
Yeah.
I'll almost see the shape of his body.
Just wait while he's pausing for like a really funny punchline, and then interrupt by saying, Brady, have you ever played D&D?
I was thinking
And then he
realistically.
can go right into a joke about how that's for nerds.
Oh no! I refuse
then
to be
you're
the
the
heckler
joke.
at this show. I will not be that mad.
No, you'll be heckled.
God. I'm going to bring a D20 and throw it on stage. And if I roll a natural 20, by the new 1 D&D rules, it'll have to succeed. He will have to tell me if he plays D&D or not.
Well, you could probably break in backstage. You know, like just find him in the green room, find him in the bathroom.
I could definitely walk in. I think without paying, I could definitely walk into a green room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because, I mean,
Like, how so?
like, I don't know. I feel like if I just confidently walk up, I'm like, hey, I'm the sound guy. And they're like, where's your ID? And I'm like, it's inside. I've already been here. Like,
Beans, I left it in my locker.
it's literally sitting by the soundboard.
So, I think there's probably a million people that have tried that before and it hasn't worked.
No, they
but
haven't.
if it's
No
going
one's
to
ever
work,
tried.
it's going to be via Seth.
Yeah.
That's going to make it work.
You've seen me do
100%.
things
Yes.
that don't make sense.
Yep.
And
The
so I think it
the
would
ice
work.
cream bit where
Oh
you
my
just wanted
gosh.
ice cream and were served free ice cream on the spot.
What?
You were there for it, Zach.
What?
I can't believe you don't remember this.
I don't recall.
This was my halfling luck moment of my life. You were there. So there was a time in college that we went to get Chick-fil-A. And on the way to get said Chick-fil-A, I think this was like end of sophomore year, maybe beginning of junior year. We were going to get Chick-fil-A, and the whole way I was being so annoying. I was like, all I want is a milkshake. I've been wanting a milkshake my entire life. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment to get a milkshake.
Now it's ringing a bell.
And I was complaining the whole time because that's all I wanted. I was like, I'm gonna get my milkshake. It's gonna be great. We get to Chick-fil-A and we're standing there, and I'm like, I'm already here. I don't need to go to the cafe and get food after this. I'll just get food here. So I buy food, and I'm like, okay, cool. I want the number one, the chicken sandwich, fries. Thank you. Yes, I'll take my drink too. I go to the side. I get my drink. I'm standing there just drinking it, and you walk up to me, and I go, fuck. And you were like, what? Are you good? And I was like, forgot my milkshake. And it was like 20 minutes that I was just complaining because all I wanted was ice cream. And so I was like, I don't want to get back in line. I'm not going to be that guy. I don't want to look stupid. So I'm fine. Like, I don't need ice cream. I wanted ice cream today. I don't need it. I just wanted, I wanted the milkshake so I could hold it and drink it. It's cool. Whatever. I don't need it. And we're all standing there. Everybody gathers up, and a girl from way in the back, like, she was back there frying, I guess they're like, in an area where, like, I didn't know she was there, comes out and is like, hey, and we're probably the second closest group to the counter, but we are definitely the most friendly looking group. There was like a group of like old folks standing by the counter. And so she walks past them with ice cream in her hand and then up to our group and goes, hey, I accidentally made an extra one of these. Do any of you guys want it? And and all of you turn and look at me because I was complaining how I forgot to order it. And I went, thanks. And I just took it and I had my ice cream. It was 100% free. She made an extra one. And I can guarantee you guys that she did not hear me complaining because she was like in the back. Like, no one would have heard me except for like only the people around me.
Yeah, that's what you think, but Chick-fil-A is actually bugged everywhere. Anywhere you talk, it goes right to her earpiece. So she knew.
Oh. So the whole thing was a trick. It was a long con. So they knew we would talk about it on our very famous podcast, TableTalk Friday.
Exactly.
I got you. They gave you the best customer service. But look at this. They're making so much money because of us right now.
Not
Podcast-
endorsed by Chick-fil-A.
A podcast that, in fact, you can subscribe to the Patreon and get some banger post shows that we've been putting out. Like, I got to re-listen to the post shows when I was editing that. Or I wasn't really editing. I was mostly just listening to them and then getting them scheduled to post on our Patreon. And guys, those are some funny. Like, our post shows are funny. Probably some of the most satisfying stuff I've gotten to be a part of is making the post shows.
I definitely feel super loose on the post show. Like, okay, we just did our podcast. We did our job, right? Now we're relaxing. We're getting in the zone.
Yeah, do you ever like it when we start an episode and you click on it for like something specific and then we don't get to that specific something for like 20 minutes?
That's what the post show is, but for 30 to 45 minutes.
And whatever we name these, you'll find whatever we talked about at some point in there, but you'll have to look for it.
Okay, I do have one more story to go over before we get to any form of topic. And
It's the pre-show, post-show.
So you guys know I talked recently, I think it was on the last episode, about my Publix addiction.
Oh no, has it gotten
Well,
worse?
it has a sequel. Because I always get every time I tell someone about the Publix addiction, they're like, oh yeah, I like Publix too, but I really like Target. Like, everybody tells me that. I think, Zach, you might have said that to me at one point, but one person at my job told me that. I went on a date and was talking about my Publix addiction, and the girl I was out with was like, "Oh yeah, but have you been to Target? Target's the best."
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, Seth, but it's not like limited to any one group of women. I'm pretty sure all women just like overnight. No one told me, but they all love Target.
Yeah,
and I love Target too, because I'm dating a woman.
So.
I gotta know, when did Target actually become popular? Because when I was younger, it was not cool. It was not the cool place to be. But nowadays, if you go into Target, you're bougie.
Dude, when I was a kid, I thought that Walmart and Target were like the only two grocery stores.
That's all of them.
And like Target was the fancy one, and Walmart was for the poor. And that's all I thought when I was a kid.
You see, growing up, I don't think I ever set foot in a Target. So in my mind, it was just like Kmart, which is like somehow trashier Walmart. So I had Target all wrong. Not sponsored by Target, but if you've ever been inside of a super Target, they've got everything.
That's where I went today, was the super Target in Kannapolis. And let me tell you, I like Target. Okay?
More than Publix?
No. I like Target. And I love Publix. But I like Target. Now, I have reasoning for this, because Target does have, I would say, a better selection than Publix does. I was walking around with my cart. I grabbed a basket at first, and I thought, no. I'm at the grocery store, and I know myself. I need a cart. And so I grabbed the cart, and I started walking around, just parading through the aisles. First of all, not sponsored, Target carries Magic Spoon. And Magic Spoon cereal is protein cereal that tastes like freaking kid cereal. I bought the Fruit Loops ones. Also, I bought one of each flavor. So, which, let me tell you, this is $8 boxes of cereal.
Oh my gosh, why?
Yeah, so I bought 4. And
that's horrific.
I tried Magic Spoon when I got home. Guys, we're not sponsored by Magic Spoon. It tasted like Fruit Loops. It tasted just like Fruit Loops, but it's like chock full of protein and low calorie.
But you see, the complaint that I hear everyone say is box too small, price too high.
Because it's full of protein. Protein costs a lot of money. Way more money than sugar.
I mean, to be fair, all the food prices are up right now. I went shopping the other day. It was $8 for a 12-pack of Dr. P.
Yeah. So, and that's one thing I have to say about Target. I bought a lot of stuff. And when I go to Publix, I only buy the things that are on sale, right? Mm-hmm. I go in there, and like I can go to each category of food: soda, cold brews, milk. You know, in each of those categories, no matter what, there's going to be one item that is on sale, and most of the time that sale is buy one get one. So it's like that one product is like half off. So I'll go in there and be like, oh, there's a selection of 5 different cold brews. I'm gonna buy the one that's buy one get one. Like there's 6 different cottage cheeses. I'm gonna buy the one that's buy one get one. I go to Target, and they don't put anything on sale. There's no sales going on, because I'm in here and I'm like, oh, there's a selection of 12 different cold brews, and not a single one is on sale. All of them are like $5 to $6 for a jug, which is way better than the price of a Starbucks coffee, right? But still, I'm standing there like, I'm gonna have to buy all this stuff full price. So I spent over $100 at Target today because I was like, I have to try all of these things. I found a pumpkin flavored beer. Voodoo Ranger, to be specific, my favorite IPA. Okay, and I was like, oh, great. Now I'm going to buy this. So I bought it. I saw it, and I was like, great. I'm upset. So I bought that. I bought some cold brew. I bought a lot of stuff. And my trip to Target was amazing. It was great. I had a blast. The only thing that was on sale that I got was my soda. I am now on a caffeine-free kick, where I have bought more caffeine-free Pepsis ever since we had that conversation on the podcast here. I now have 3 12-packs sitting in my fridge back home because it was 3 for $15. Go to Target. It's 3 for $15 this week.
We are just the best consumers on this episode of Table Talk Friday. I can't help but feel the urge to go to Target at this very moment. And I know that if I go to Target, I'm going to spend over $100. You can't walk into Target and spend less than over $100.
They carry the protein alternative of everything. They had the Kodiak protein pancakes. They had like protein muffin mix. They had, and you know, I train like bodybuilder style, so like I'm in there and I'm thinking this is my heaven. I bought like one of all of the protein stuff that I could have because I was like, oh, I'm gonna make some protein pancakes, some protein balls. Like I've got like the protein cereal now with the Magic Spoon. They also had an alternative to Magic Spoon with more protein in it, and it's like $1 cheaper. And I was like, well, I'm gonna buy all of these too.
So are we thinking that Target is just this magical trap for consumers at this point?
Oh yeah,
because there is something very alluring about it. We can't place what it is or when it happened. Right? There's no sales, so it's not financial. And when you go in, you have to buy at least one thing because, like you said, Walmart's like the lesser version of Target, right? So if you walk into Target and you leave without anything, people are going to think you're poor. You're some kind of peasant. So you have to buy at least one thing.
Yeah, the problem with Target is I feel like the allure to it is I don't have to wait for the shipping for Magic Spoon. You can buy like the 4 boxes, like the variety pack for like $30 on their website, which is a very good price for the cereal that I'm getting. Instead, it was like $35 that I ended up spending while I was there today. So yeah, it's more worth it if you order it online. But I could go there and get it right now. I could, like, they've got everything. Like, if I walk in and I'm not sure what I want, they've got all the options. They literally had a protein muffin mix. Like,
Ooh.
and it's like birthday cake flavored. And I was like, you can't find that anywhere else. I can't find that in Publix. So what I like about Publix is buy one, get one all the time. You know, there's so much buy one, get one stuff. What I like about Target now that I've been today is, man, that selection. You can't beat that selection.
I hate that we boost all these stores.
And what you should do, guys, is go to your local grocery store that's owned by one man and one woman and their grandchildren and or 2 men and 2 women and their grandchildren they don't have. And their dog. Just go to your local grocery store is what I'm trying to say.
Where's the Target dog? Whatever happened to the Target dog?
Welcome
sure
to
it
Table
died.
Talk Friday. My name is Seth Pittman, and I'm joined by my 2 friends, Zachary Carvon and Andrew Romano. How are you boys doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little disturbed now. I feel like there's a Target conspiracy going on where this dog went missing now, but I'll let it go for now.
I don't want to burst your bubble, and I haven't looked it up. I'm talking out of my ass right now, but I guarantee you that dog is dead.
I don't think that's true. I
It
think
happened
that's.
to Taco Bell. It could happen to you, too.
What do you mean happened to Taco Bell?
The dog?
The
Yo quiero
Chihuahua?
Taco Bell?
There was a Taco Bell dog?
Yeah, it was a Chihuahua.
A Chihuahua.
I love Taco Bell. I've never seen the Taco Bell dog.
He says, yo quiero Taco Bell.
Dang it,
No.
guys. Now I have another story. Oh, I hate you. We brought up Taco Bell. My grandma, I got up this morning. I walked downstairs, and my grandma, she walks up to me and is like, hey, Seth, did you know I went to Taco Bell yesterday? And I was like, as a matter of fact, I didn't know you went to Taco Bell yesterday. That's crazy. And she goes, I don't know what it is, but like sometimes you just have to. And I was like, you sound like Drew right now. I was like, you sound like Drew because what Drew always we would have those days where it's like, oh, today's a Taco Bell day. And my grandma had a Taco Bell day yesterday where she was like, oh, I just wanted to go to Taco Bell. I just had to do it every now and then, you know? And I said, yeah, I had that too last year.
But it's a real thing. It happens.
It is a real
No matter
thing.
what you are eating in that moment, no matter what you have prepared, what delicious feast you could be having with your family or friends, Crunchwrap. I want a Crunchwrap.
Dude, I literally had that conversation with her this morning where I was like, oh, well, what do you get? And she was like, the whatever nachos that they have.
What?
She gets whatever like their special nachos are. And I said, I'm a Crunchwrap Supreme kind of guy. And she goes, oh, those are good too. And so I had like a bro moment with her this morning talking about Taco Bell. Anyways, we have a bit of a hodgepodge of things that I kind of want to talk about today. One, I would like to talk about my experience with all the new campaign cases and stuff that have come out. And then 2, I think we've got some one-offs that we need to kind of briefly bring up because we keep pointing towards we're going to talk about these one-offs on the podcast and we haven't done it yet. And I would like to hear what happened in the Barrels Brain Bash in probably a Spark Notes version. I don't need the full 1.5 hour explanation of everything that happened. But yeah, I would kind of like to get a lay of the land on that. So, to begin, I've gotten a hold of the 2 new campaign cases by buying them. I didn't get a hold of them. I wasn't sponsored by anybody. I bought them on Amazon for Dungeons and Dragons. We have specifically the Terrain campaign case and the DM's Token campaign case that have come out recently. And I've got a couple of things I need to say on these because as a DM, I have just way too many accessories, things that I've added into my repertoire, into my my belt, my tool belt as a DM. And I like to buy a lot of new things that I feel like are going to help me in the game. I bought these. Why? Because it's stuff that could have possibly helped me. And I got a little bone to pick with Wizards of the Coast right now because I've had time to kind of think about it. The token case is very cool. I opened it up. You get a bunch of stacks of small, medium, and huge tokens in there. And then they have basically these little stickers that aren't sticky. They're like the little decals you stick on your window where you can kind of take them on and off of things, and they work very, very well. So I think the quality of the product you're getting is there for that. But my complaint with it is the selection for the monsters on these little decal things. You get a ton of goblins, a ton of the small and the medium creatures, the stuff you're going to deal with at level 1. And then you get one of each creature that's all of the other creatures that are in there. And so I'm okay, well, this is useful if I have one fire giant. Well, this is useful if I have one dragon here. When most of the time, you're only going to need, one red dragon. That's fine.
Right.
But yeah, whenever we're talking to giants, usually I'm running encounters with giants that are 3 or 4 of these things. Anything that's not your basic wolf and goblin, which they give you 12 of, they give you a bunch of those and very small amounts of all of one of all the other creatures that you would find in the monster manual. So that's cool. If there's a supplemental version, I would love to just have a bunch of these decals for all the monsters for all the books. That would be nice, just an encyclopedia that I can use for these tokens. But right now, I've just got all these tokens for creatures that aren't included in really any of the modules that I'm running. So it's just they're kind of not useful to me unless I make a reason to use these creatures specifically.
So, as far as you saw, though, they do have pretty much everything in the monster manual. Did they have anything from, Monsters of the Multiverse? Or?
Not, so they don't really have anything from Monsters of the Multiverse. They've got pretty much most of the stuff you can find in the monster manual. I'm sure there's stuff missing. I didn't look one by one and see everything, but they've got your giants, your dragons, your ghouls, your vampire, your skeletons, your lich, a bunch of NPC ones. So you do get 10 to, I think it was 10 to 20, just little ones that you could use for as NPC characters. I feel that the campaign case, if you are on a budget and you don't want to buy minis at all, buy that. It's perfectly worth it for that because if a creature comes up that kind of looks like an animated armor, you've got an animated armor thing there, boom, your token's down. Yeah, I think it's a very good supplement if you're just running a game. For a DM like me who wants the details to be correct, I probably won't use it that much unless I'm using those creatures specifically and we don't have a mini for it. We have hundreds of minis, each individually, so that's not really a problem for us. I wanted to kind of give my review on the case specifically, and overall, I think it's a great supplement for a DM who has nothing and wants something.
Now, what was the price on that? Because I know minis are, they're kind of
It was
expensive.
reasonable, I believe. Let me do a double check on the price really quick. Let's see.
And
D&D.
while you're doing that, I want to be very clear. I'm still a little sketched out on how well they work. But that said, they're pretty cool.
$65.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I mean that's roughly, if you look at WizKids and their Icons of the Realms, that's either a premium pack or 3 boosters. So that's decent for what you get a pretty decent number of tokens that you can use.
If you are a beginner DM and you don't have anything, you just want to start with your group, perfect supplement. I think it's great. $65 on Amazon, pick it up. Campaign Case Creatures is what it's called. And it's perfect. So, overall, I'd give the product a like a solid 7 out of 10. It's good for brand new DMs, and if you're a DM that has a lot of minis, just use your minis. It's gonna work better.
So if you were a new DM going back in time, would you buy this for yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Looking back, I remember when I was using, erasers, and I drew a very sloppy grid on a poster board as a as a map to use. I think I definitely would have dropped $60 on some stickers just to have some realism in my games, for sure.
Oh yeah, I think it's totally worth it for that.
I love how you say realism. Like
immersion.
I can't imagine what that monster looks like if it's there unless I've got a little circle with a picture on it.
Absolutely, yeah. That makes a big difference.
If you've ever seen what Roll20 looks like, the tokens literally look like that. So if you're kind of trying to visualize that as a listener, they look like the little tokens on Roll20, and that's really nice. I think it's a perfectly reasonable supplement for the price. Now let's move on to the terrain case, which I literally opened right before we got live here on the podcast, and I've got a couple of things about it since opening it 20 minutes ago. One, I really like that they give us the flat board with the two different sides to lay out a map, and then also the little puzzle piece one, so that if you kind of want to take away some land, add some land here or there, you can differentiate the terrain that's going on in that area. So they give you a bunch of different pieces with the. I'm gonna pull up my case right now just so I can visualize it for myself, but. Looking at this thing overall, and these things are set up like little briefcases, which is really fun. Like, it's really nice to be able to carry around. But one thing I don't really like about this campaign case is that you only get grass and tile. Like, you get an outdoor and an indoor setting. So each of these tiles has two sides, and they give you a couple of different sets of it. If we had 4, I would say you split it up to where we've got tiles for grass, tiles for like inside stone, you've got maybe a sand one or something like that, and then an ice one. Okay, now we're talking. Or like maybe one of them's a fiery one for like a volcano. Now we're talking. We've got 4 different types of like terrain you could be traveling across. With 2, I feel very limited by what they're giving me here.
Right. Well, and the whole point of having terrain in the first place is to elevate your options beyond what you could easily accomplish with, a pen and marker, or
right.
It seems counterintuitive to only have a couple of options when the whole reason that I'm getting the terrain is to make it look more accurate. To unless I haven't picked up anything, like I don't have a mat, or I don't have graph paper and I don't want to like draw it out. I mean, I guess that's fine too. But you would just think that they'd provide more options.
What I did really like is the amount of little decals you get for this. So you get like 6 or 7 pages of decals to like slap down on your map to make it look more like a map, which is really fun for me because we've had, physical things that we've laid down, but they're the same thing. We see them all the time. They're the same things over and over again. These are a change of pace for us. And there's a lot of different things you can use here. Like you can put a whole bridge on your map just from these little sticker things that they've been giving you. So I really like those, but I feel like I could pay $10 for those by themselves and not need all the rest of the terrain stuff. Again, is it reasonable for someone who for the first time is playing D&D and needs some terrain? Yeah, it's reasonable. Do I think that if that is the case though, if it's your first time, or you're a new DM and you just want some stuff, buy a battle mat and some decals like that, and then you're way better off than having these like this grass and this stone that's going to kind of throw you off of what your setting looks like.
Right. I mean, with a battle mat, it usually leaves some, unless you're a very talented artist and you spend a ton of time, messing up your battle mat with dry erase markers. Then you could get that level of immersion. But with a battle mat, you at least have the ability to draw out exactly what you want. It is a more accurate representation of what you're doing instead of accommodating these tile pieces working within your means there.
I feel like you need to break it down and feel out what is the $60 worth to you, right? And also where are you at in the game. When I started, the idea that I could have grass, like just some green paper that I could put my characters on, that might be worth $60 right there. That's just a second option, you know? But maybe nowadays, I don't know. I'm not sure if the stickers are super usable for us when we have so many minis and so many different kinds of backdrops and battle maps. I don't know. Just kind of feel out your situation. Is it worth it?
Right, and a dry erase marker will, run you, or a pack of dry erase markers will run you $5 as opposed to 65, or even like 15 for the decals, right? And then a battle mat; those are usually reasonably priced.
I
too.
showed you guys before this a supplement which I think is way more worth your money that I bought from Barnes and Noble this week. It's called the Big Book of Battle Mats. If you're a brand new DM, this fills out all the details for you. You literally flip it open, boom. And you've got a whole battle mat to play with. Now, does that already have everything pre-decided? It's not. It is dry erase, which is nice. So, yeah, this. I feel like this is a much better supplement for someone to like throw their players into immersion. If you're looking for something like that, and it already gives you the blank battle mat in the back. I would recommend buying the more expensive version, which is I believe $45. That gives you bigger pages. So then you've got a full-size battle mat and a ton, like 60 different maps to choose from inside the book. And that's running you $45. And I feel like you're getting way better quality, way better supplement for cheaper.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good third-party products like that, like books of battle maps. What I will recommend against, and Seth, correct me if I'm wrong, if you really love these, but the tactical maps from Dungeons and Dragons, like the official licensed ones, I'm not a big fan of.
They're
those.
crappy.
Yeah,
I own them, and I've had fun with them. But those the official, tactical. First of all, terrain case, I'm gonna give a 6 out of 10. I think it's worse than the tokens, just based on what terrain I'm given here to play with. I'm only given like the tiles and stuff, and I can get all the stuff that's in here for cheaper anywhere else. So I don't think this is worth $65. I think the token one that we got is perfect for a new player because you're getting official D&D stuff, and if you are like you're getting artwork and all of that of the dragons and everything that's going to be in your book. Like you're getting the real creatures that you're going to be seeing in the book. So that I feel like that's more worth it, especially if you're starting out. You probably only have the monster manual, so that's fitting a newer DM perfectly.
Yeah, it sort of lends you an air of authenticity without breaking the bank.
Yeah, the terrain campaign case, I think I would recommend third-party supplements over it. So 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10. We'll go with that because I'm in between those two.
I will put in my 2 cents. The one thing that I really like in there for maybe more experienced players are the little flippable tiles that you get that actually lock into place and connect to one another.
Yeah.
They're really cool. I've had them for a while now. I've really only used them once or twice because they're difficult to use. But if you can pull them off, if you have enough space to maybe lay the map out somewhere nearby where the players can't see it or cover it up, it's really, really, really cool. It really gets you immersed, being able to flip over the dungeon as your players go through it, building up the suspense of what's around the next corner. It's very cool. Difficult to use, but I do like that a lot.
Yeah, and we used something very similar. Seth and I, in our first campaign, I mean, we didn't, but our DM had I think it was either start of 5th edition or like late 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Command. It's like a board game. It came with some minis and some terrain. If you can find that cheap, it's a pretty good
There
product.
are a million of those board games, though. Like, I know the Dragonlance Warriors of Kryn one is coming up. And so there's a lot of board games and stuff you can pick up that would give you stuff like that. But those are all going to run you more than third-party supplements. I think third-party supplements are the way to go with a lot of this stuff. Tokens, new people, definitely check them out. The terrain case, you can find, go to your local Barnes & Noble, you'll find something better. But yeah, those tactical maps, dude, I had a blast with them for the Avernus campaign we did because some of them fit the themes really well. Mm-hmm. Like, I could pull one out and go, yeah, you're here. We started the campaign off with one that was an icy setting, and it was like, yeah, you are actually in this area. This is what this looks like. This is what this looks like. And we used it too when you guys got into Avernus and you were going across like the fiery terrain. And it was like, oh yeah, it looks like you're in a volcano right now. This is the spot you're in. So I did really like them for that. But I mean, though what is up with that paper that it's on? Like, I could tear one of those things so easily by accident. You spill water on it, they're ruined.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, crappy, waxy poster paper, which, it works, but also you pull out one of those maps and they don't seem super reusable for the same table. Like,
Can't draw on it.
Yeah, like you could maybe pull it out for, multiple different sessions with different groups. But I feel like if I'm playing at your table and you pull out the same map of a keep and every keep that we run into looks like that, it's like, okay.
Well, that's why I don't reuse them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want you guys to run into the same thing. But I'll give them credit where credit's due. They were cheap. I think that was like $10 to $20 for those tactical maps. Like,
So,
I spent
fair enough.
I spent barely any money on that. Like, so, credit where credit's due. They didn't cost much.
We've gotten a lot of use out of them. And while I didn't expect this episode to be, our first ever unboxing review D&D episode, I do want to bring up one really cool option that we used for a long time. Back in college, you had bought that very large, what was it? It was like almost
It was
like a
graph
large
paper that I bought from Staples.
Yeah, but it was on like a big, it was like bound, so
was
you
like
could
an
pull
easel.
them off and tear them off. You could draw on it. I thought it was pretty handy, and I think you could even stick them to the wall if you wanted to, which was very
sticky.
neat.
So they were like, it was the Post-it brand graph paper. Now that for a sheet of that, for like 40 pieces, it was like $40. I think it was like $30. It was expensive, but yeah. I loved doing that, where I actually drew out all of Groothog on a piece of paper. Like, a Groothog is a hill giant base. I drew out all of it on a piece of paper, like all of the boss room. So yeah, I used to like doing that. I modeled all of our ships that you guys got. The only reason I don't still do that is because it took me like 3 to 4 hours to draw each one, because I made it accurate to what it was in the book.
And I tried the same thing with, I didn't splurge on a big Post-it paper, but I used wrapping paper, a lot of that you get.
They have 1 inch
Walmart
tile
or
or
whatever.
1 inch blocking on the back.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the right size for D&D. So I cut out a bunch of pieces and like had every room that I could like modularly put down.
Ravenloft.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't.
No, you did it for one of the dungeons in Strahd.
Yeah. It was Argynvostholt.
Yes.
That I set up. But we had to do Castle Ravenloft over Roll20. Because
Right.
because a bunch of people were graduating, so we had to do it after the end of the school year, which saved me hours of work. I mean, it took me like 5 hours to do a significantly smaller dungeon. If I tried to do all of that for Ravenloft, it would have been too much. And you guys didn't even go to like, half the rooms in Castle Ravenloft. So
No, we golden pathed it.
Yeah, exactly. So
All this goes to say, guys, don't ever feel locked down if you're trying to get into this game or put together all this crafty stuff. There's a way to do it. You don't need $1 million. Make it work. There's so many different options, things you can customize. You can get crafty with it. You don't have to get crafty with it. There was one time in college where there was actually a whiteboard that we had that rolled around on 2 wheels, and me and a couple of my friends played a game where we actually drew the map on the board, and we used magnets as our character pieces. So you can even have like a vertical setting if you want to. There's so many ways to do this. Just start playing, guys. You'll figure it out.
I mean, Theater of the Mind is a perfectly viable way to do it. The only hard part about that we wouldn't be used to is distance. Mm-hmm. We are when we're playing it, we are Fire Embleming the shit out of it, where we're like, I'm within 65 feet, and if you were like, can I hit it, and then I had to Theater of the Mind it, I'd have to be like, no, or like, yes. And like, I feel like there's a lot of bias that can be brought up in that scenario where it's like, oh yeah, you're not close enough. Did I say 70? Sorry, I mean he's 90 feet away.
There's a lot of hand waving that,
yes.
it serves the game well, but if we can count out the numbers exactly, then that becomes a whole other, part of the game. And it becomes fun to figure out, shit, I'm just under the speed because, I didn't take this, I didn't decide to move my last turn, or, I'm a dwarf, so I only have 25 foot movement speed, and that comes up. It sort of, validates your decisions by making difficult choices come up, regarding your positioning in combat. So definitely prefer it with a mat when we can, but they both have pros and cons, because at the same time, sometimes you get pissed when the DM says, "Oh yeah, you're like 200 feet out." And, well, they saw you. Initiative is rolled. And it's like, how many rounds is it going to take me to get there? Meanwhile, they're pelting us from a distance. Geez, I sure wish this was theater of the mind and we could forget that he said 200 feet.
Right.
Now keep in mind, even if your imagination fails, all you have to do, which is the most optimal way to play D&D, by the way, through text. All you have to do is text each other, little messages like, oh, I say this, oh, I say that, and you can lie about everything you rolled. It's perfectly fine. The DM will never know. It's the most optimal way to play D&D.
And for more on that, you can go back to one of our Storytime episodes where we talked about the time we played a session on text. Just check the title. It's there. Well, I would like to hear about Barrel's Brain Bash Part 3, if you would. Give us a little background on the origins of Barrel's Brain Bash first, though, so the audience knows.
Yeah, sure. So we've sort of got an epic yarn to unfold here, and the way that I like to think about Barrel's Brain Bash is we sort of have we had our main campaign, and then that's really continued. So we started with Storm King's Thunder several years ago at this point. And then that's evolved into Descent into Avernus. It takes place in the same setting, within the same time period. It's like 30 years after we come back to Avernus. But meanwhile, we have these other sessions that have existed in the interim that sort of serve, like, in my mind, almost like a Star Wars, The Clone Wars, or like, expanded universe material that's canon but doesn't exist in the main plot line. So anyway, Sean, Firefighter Eric, has run a series of one-offs for us that more or less, they take place in our canon universe using characters from our campaign, but it's, ancillary story stuff. So, like we've mentioned plenty of times before on the podcast, after the end of Storm King's Thunder, we had a big epic session with one of our characters, Daleth. We went into like his persona mind fortress and
his palace, please.
Yeah, exactly. And we basically freed him from that. But as a part of that one-off, Sean decided to play the son of his character, Beryl. The son's name was Scimitar Samuel.
Based on an NPC that's actually in Storm King's Thunder called Scimitar. Yeah, she's in a supplement I bought on DM's Guild for Storm King's Thunder called Scimitar Sally.
Yeah, and
so she's a canon character.
And she definitely got with Beryl, our Kenku bard warlock.
He's a catch.
Yeah, he really was. So in any case, that happened, and Sean ran this series of one-offs for us. So the first session was more or less had nothing to do with the rest of the story, but Beryl was behind the inception of it. Essentially, we were on a time loop, and at the start of the day, every day, we went to like this magic item shop where we could each like get a magic item, and we didn't know what any of them did. So each time we try and tackle this this dungeon that Beryl had us going through, we would like pick up different items. We'd tackle the problems differently, and then the idea was that through experimentation, there was a lot of bullshit that he was throwing at us, but we'd understand what to avoid, what's important, and eventually get through the golden path.
Very cool.
Yeah, super cool. It's like Groundhog Day, basically.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward, we get to Barrel's Brain Bash Part 2, and this is a session that we spent a lot of time prepping. So we each made characters that were significant to Beryl in some way. There was Grandine, the shopkeep that he always argued with. And I don't know if we've mentioned this on the podcast before, but there was a running bit that every time we go to Yartar, we got to stop by.
We've talked about it in one of the story times before.
Yeah, Grandine's Magical Marvels or whatever the store's name was. And they would get into a shouting match. So anyway, Grandine was a character. We had Artan Rizzolio, who was, as far as I understand, a named character in Storm King's Thunder as well.
Yes.
Who's actually in the book.
I believe he originated from the same thing that Scimitar Sally did, which was a supplement called The Flying Misfortune. If you look it up on DM's Guild, he's kind of one of the... Or, no, he was in a separate one. Anyways, he's on DM's Guild, his quest is.
Yeah. So in any case, we had that named character. So Seth, you played Artan.
Yes, I did.
Of course, our good friend Patrick was playing Grandine. And then I, another running gag of Beryl, because if we haven't established this already, Beryl was our joke character in the party. He was our mascot, and he just got into a bunch of weird and wacky antics, including sending mail to his girlfriend, Scimitar Sally, when we had access to a network of teleportation circles, so we could easily teleport over to her and give her the thing that he wanted to give her, but instead he decided to send it through snail mail. So my character was Beryl's mailman, and his name is Fleckle. And then Drew, you played a simulacrum of Beryl, who had a lot of his same abilities, but he was just a weaker version. I think we were all level 4, so it all scaled down. But just a copy of him, basically. So anyway, Beryl's Brain Bash Part 2, we get together. Beryl's feeling depressed for some reason. We go out into the middle of the woods. We eat some bad mushrooms, and everyone trips. And so this whole session, just to spare you the details, Sean has us each roll a D4 when we take these mushrooms. Now, typically, at our table, we would expect rolling a D4 is to determine how many hours you're knocked out. So we thought, we all fell asleep, and so that's why he had us roll that D4. Well, as after we wake up, we find like this portal, but each of us find like a different portal and wander through it. And like throughout the session, we realized that roll not only determined the hours that we were sleeping, but also the nature of our trip. So we were all high on mushrooms, and we didn't piece this together until like the very end of the session. But like, I think 3 of us got like a bad trip. So we were. I
had like a really good trip.
Yeah, and then you had a good trip. So we were seeing everything, and we thought, oh, this is the real world. It's all really bad. And for some reason, Seth rolled really poorly, so he just thinks that everything's hunky-dory. It turns out none of it was real. It was all in our minds as we're going through this thing.
You were just dreaming.
Yeah, we end up getting into a big fight at the end with, we find Beryl and Scimitar Samuel, of course, Beryl's son, and we get into a fight. These are 15th level characters. May I remind you, we're level 4. So
we lose.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. We had every possibility of winning. We just had to realize that it was all fake and we were tripping, and like we had the power to, manifest.
We could like
whatever
lucid
we
dream
wanted.
it.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't fully pick up on that, but there was some lucid dreaming shenanigans in that fight.
Sprouting wings and stuff. Remember when we did that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I can fly. Sprouts wings.
Yeah, I grew a third arm because Scimitar Samuel cut my arm off.
Oh, yeah.
And then I grew another one out of my chest to grab my sword and keep fighting. Just a bunch of weird, wacky stuff like that. Anyway, this is all the prelude to our final session, Beryl's Brain Bash, which Seth, you were not present for.
I didn't get to be there.
But so here's how it went down. The party wakes up in the middle of our campsite. We're all in just weird places and wacky directions. This is just after the fight, which we wake up and realize, oh, we've wandered from the campsite, and there are just a number of us in weird positions. Artan was trapped in a boulder, I believe. Yeah, I want to say that Fleckle was fully nude. He took all his clothes up and climbed up a tree. Beryl, you had...
I woke up pinned to a tree with a magical sword through each leg. So keep in mind, he actually said someone was inside of a boulder a moment ago. Just keep that in mind. Someone's inside of a boulder, and I'm pinned to a tree. So my first reaction at this point in time is to pull the swords out of my legs, to which case Seth worked pretty diligently with Sean on these magic items in our last campaign. They're very strong magic items.
Yeah, you're a 15th level character going into like a 20th level encounter. You may as well have some strong Strong magic items.
Yeah, so that was Scimitar Samuel's thing. He had 2 scimitars. One
beginning
was called,
and the end.
Yeah, the beginning and the end. One of them deals more damage if the target has over half their hit points. The other one deals more damage if they have less than half. It was also super busted. It's double your proficiency mod, and then they were also +2. So the damage there, I believe, worked out to on a level 15 character. It was +12 to every hit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
that was
just
it.
that's just the base damage, but you could add other modifiers on top of that depending on your class abilities and shenanigans.
Yeah,
like
with
that.
offhand rules, he can only use a certain amount of hits on each one, and then he has to use the other one, so he's only able to do it for a certain amount of attacks. But on a fighter, man, being able to do like 3 hits with one and then 1 hit with the other, I loved that I got to bust him. I was like, this is fun.
Yeah, well, and all of us had super OP magic items too, so
That
all's
you
fair
totally
there.
all got to use.
Oh yeah, all of them. Every magic item.
Drew's character died like right as soon as the last encounter started.
Yeah, not only did you die, but you died to a power word kill, so there was nothing you could do. You just died instantly.
I was holding my 9th level mass heal ready to go, boys, and I got power word killed.
I think the problem was none of us had counterspell.
Yeah. Anyways, back on track.
Yeah, so we all wake up in these random states of disarray. Somehow, did we get Artan out of the boulder? Seth wasn't there, so we sort of brushed him aside.
Yeah, at the end of Barrel's Brain Bash Part 2, I got out of the boulder, but he probably retconned it so that way I stayed inside.
Yeah, in any case, Artan was it was an ordeal for him getting out of that boulder, so I think he hung back while the rest of us proceeded ahead. Anyway, we get our clothes on. We do take the swords, the beginning and the end, and none of us could wield them except for me. So Fleckle, the Sverfneblin arcane trickster, got to wield these insanely overpowered legendary items. And so we press on. We see no sign of Barrel or Scimitar Samuel, so we're looking for them through the forest that we're in. And we do pick up on some tracks because Grandine's gotten really good at tracking once she abandoned her livelihood and became a druid, which is just a very Patrick move, by the way. I know you guys don't know him, but he does just... if you think that it would make sense for him to do one thing, he'll probably do the other thing. The exact opposite
And you
of that
can't
thing,
change
actually.
his mind even if it makes sense.
Yeah, so in any case, Grandine was a druid now.
Which
And
I'll jump in just for a moment. To be very specific, she was the Spores Druid, right? So Spore Druid, the character was based off of mushrooms. He had a bag of mushrooms. So we start this session knowing we just had this big trip, and we had no idea we were poisoned by mushrooms, and no one caught it. It was an incredible moment of like, don't you know this? Isn't this your thing?
Yeah. We were all to blame, though. You're not gonna levy that all at Grandine because we all should have known better. Why would we eat the mushrooms? Seriously, why would we even do that? But in any case, we find these tracks that seem to be leading out of the forest. But in the distance, we start to hear the dulcet tune of what Sean calls a schwam. I believe it's pronounced a sham. But in any case, that's what Barrel played, was a schwam. It's like
That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's a
long,
schwam.
It's a
long
schwam.
flute of sorts. And so anyway, we find this what appears to be Barrel in this clearing up ahead, but he seems off. He doesn't remember any of us specifically. And also he says, I believe he had a name tag on, and it said, "My name is Wandering Adventurer Barrel." And he doesn't recall any of us, and we ask him, "Hey, where's Scimitar Samuel?" He's like, "Oh, he's over that way." And so after a confused conversation with him, he says, "Well, yeah, I'm Wandering Adventurer Barrel. Anyway, I'm going to continue wandering and adventuring. I'll see you boys around." And he wanders off into the forest. So we head, based on his directions, towards where apparently Scimitar Samuel and maybe Barrel are. We don't fully understand. It seemed like that was Barrel. And it doesn't seem out of character for him to just wear a name tag and change his name. So, so we didn't exactly know what was going on, but we venture forth and we finally make it to the tree line at the end of the forest and come out to a town that, based on our knowledge of the area, definitely wasn't there before. And at first, we come up upon this town and we're like, oh, perfect, civilization. We'll surely find Beryl and Scimitar Samuel here. But as we walk into town, we realize not only was there wandering adventurer Beryl just back a ways, but everyone in town
is Beryl.
looks exactly like Beryl, and they're all wearing name tags for like different roles that they're in, right? So we have townsperson Beryl, female townsperson Beryl, which is just Beryl with like he stuffed his shirt. There's literal barrels, like the wooden things, and I'm Beryl. And they're sitting in the corner, and like you try and talk to Beryl, he's not going to talk to you. He's in character. So we wander into town. We start asking around. I believe we run into Blacksmith Beryl, who is Beryl, except he's shaved all the feathers off his arms and he's jacked, and he's working on smithing. We ask around to try and figure out where the fuck is the real Beryl here. As we're doing this, I believe we do come upon a Beryl, and we finally we bully him into talking to us. And upon breaking character, 2 guard barrels come out and drag him away screaming while he's breaking character. So now we finally realize, oh, I know where we are. We're in Disneyland. It's Disneyland, but for Beryl. So as we walk through the town, we start seeing like weird, like bastardized landmarks that almost make sense to significant things that Beryl's done. We see Grandine's shop set up, and there's a line out the door of barrels, and before we even head inside, we can hear people shouting, "Yeah, I wouldn't pay this amount for," just like Grandine and Beryl do, except it's all Beryl, of course. We go into the shop and we see, oh, it's Grandine Beryl, and everyone wants to argue with Grandine Beryl over the prices of her wares. I believe we even there's like an adventuring guild where I don't think we went in, but there was definitely like Morwen Beryl, Eknon Beryl, Daleth Beryl, and Beryl also in there.
I want to be very clear. We definitely went in because we had to know the Beryl versions of our old characters. So we go into this building, and from across the way we see, barrels dressed as our old characters, one by one described to us, which is incredible and horrifying in the same time. We go up to speak with them to see if we can recruit them for the rest of our mission to locate the real one and true Beryl. So we tell them we have this adventure for them, to which they all lift up their swords, weapons, and go, "Adventure!" And they all charge out the door.
That's right. That's exactly what happened.
We didn't ask them to do anything yet, I don't believe. They just took it upon themselves to go adventure.
Come on, gang. Let's go find Beryl.
Which I would like to say, this is an excellent idea for the next one-off. Is we all be Beryl old characters of ourselves hunting down Beryl.
No. That wouldn't work based on what happens later. So anyway, we hit all these landmarks. We're asking around, where the fuck is Beryl? Where's Scimitar Samuel? And then finally, we come into like the center of this town, and we get our answer. We see on like a wooden post tied up to the top, Scimitar Samuel. He's I believe he's unconscious. He's been stripped of most of his belongings, and around him is like an auctioneer Beryl who's like doing a raffle for who gets to get Scimitar Samuel for the day, because every Beryl wants his son. So there's a bunch of townsfolk Beryl who are putting their names. I believe it was a raffle box. Correct me if I'm wrong, Drew. I forget the exact circumstances. So anyway, we all also come up to the raffle box, and through some magical trickery, we rig it so that one of us gets the lucky draw for who gets Scimitar Samuel. And once it's decided who gets him, everyone goes ballistic. I should also mention that there's also, I don't think his name was Cult Leader Barrel, but it was definitely like old wise Barrel.
It was.
And he looked like a cult leader. So anyway, we get Scimitar Samuel, but instantly every barrel gets so upset that we get the sun that they start attacking us. And all of a sudden, like the sort of sinister nature of like the guards dragging people away who aren't in character makes a lot more sense. And so anyway, we get into combat with this horde of barrels that we have to fight off. Finally, we rescue Scimitar Samuel. Cult Leader Barrel runs away to his base, but we're able to get Scimitar Samuel up, and he tells us, "Oh, guys, my dad, he's in that creepy old shack over there." And we're like, "Oh, that creepy old shack. We should have checked there first." So we head towards the shack, and inside we find what's just like a single room with like I believe there's an organ on the other end of the room, and there is a barrel there sitting at the organ playing this dramatic organ music, but he's like fused to the chair. So there's like, this wooden growth just sort of overtaking most of his body. It looks like he's basically being eaten alive by the upholstery. I don't know a better way to describe it. And we come in, and then, as soon as we step through the doors, they shut behind us. And we get into this big fight with what we realize to be the one true barrel, which is how Sean described it. It was a little Rick and Morty for me, just like the one true Morty. But anyway, the one true barrel is in there, and we end up getting into a fight, not with him, because he's fused to the chair, but like the shack itself starts animating and coming to life, and like this evil wooden entity like starts coming out of the floor and attacking us. So anyway, we get into this big fight with the shack itself, and I will take all the credit. No one else was able to damage this thing at all, but Fleckle had the beginning and the end. so Barrel's mailman really carried. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was the MVP.
No, you 100% you were. You destroyed that thing.
In any case, I kill the floor essentially, and then the illusion begins to falter, and everything starts to go away. The shack releases Barrel, and he falls onto the ground. But then everything else starts to deteriorate, and then as the shack falls apart, we see to the outside, and all the barrels are disappearing, and all the buildings and the houses and everything. It all goes away. We come to find out that Barrel found this magical shack of mimicry that essentially created this world based around his personality to like lure in unsuspecting people and kill them. so that was the whole shenanigans. We got Barrel back. We reunited him and his son. He felt a lot better after having gone on that odd adventure with all of us, and we had a lovely trip back to Yartar, which I believe is the end of the session. So anyway, that's all you missed, Seth. Was
all right.
Just the trip to Barrel Disneyland.
That's all you missed. An entire town of one of your favorite characters.
Honestly, the whole selling off Scimitar Samuel thing, all I could think was, that's genius. Like, that's a genius setup for a combat encounter. Is like, oh, a bunch of these copies of this guy's dad are trying to get him back by winning this raffle or whatever. And once they get him back, everybody flips shit. So boom, combat. I like that. That's really creative. That sounds better than part 2, honestly.
Yeah, it was.
Part 2 was great.
Yeah, part 2 was great, but there was an element of what the fuck is going on. I feel like we're on an acid trip, and then we realize, oh, we were on an acid trip.
Yeah.
But this element of it, we didn't know what to think. We were like, is this real? It's broad daylight outside. I don't think we're still tripping. Like, what the fuck is going on? It was like this mystery. But in the meantime, we just got to spend so much time with these different versions of our favorite character, Beryl.
Nice. Okay.
Which I will say, what makes Sean an incredible DM is the detail that he puts in his stuff. It's all about the little details and the little situations you put yourself in. Like you mentioned, the raffling off of the sun was super cool. A little funny tidbit in there was, as he got raffled off to me, because I was the winner, as Zach had tricked them into making everyone think that I was the winner. All of I think they were labeled as townsfolk barrels. They all turned to us, tear off their name tags, and put on Angry Mob Barrel.
That's right.
That's so good.
There were so many good little moments. It was awesome.
And that's why I'm glad we played a campaign with a character that we loved so much before, because I think Sean does best whenever it's related to a character he's put a lot of thought into. So he knows Beryl better than anybody else knows Beryl. And so the easiest thing for him is like, okay, I can write a one-off based on Beryl's personality. This is what Beryl would do. So of course he's going to do it. So it's easy for him. I bet a lot of those moments are improv, where he's like, all right, they pull off the townsfolk Beryl and put on Angry Mob Beryl. I bet he's like, oh, that would be funny. Let's just do it because that's what Beryl would do in this moment.
Yeah, and so the thing about it too is Beryl was just such, at least for me, he's so inscrutable. Like Patrick will, hear what you want him to be doing and do the opposite, but Beryl pays no mind to any of that. He's just going to do what he does. And it's just so hard to figure out what he's going to do.
Yeah, and that was always it was always so hard to plan around what Beryl was possibly going to do in the next session, so I just wouldn't. And that's what made me like being the lazy DM so much, because it was like, it doesn't matter. Beryl's going to decide.
Yeah, we made it up to 5th level. Beryl was just our cute little mascot bard, and then we hit 6th level, and then all of a sudden he goes off into, in the night. Yeah, we're all, we've set up camp or whatever, and he heads off into the woods, and then all of a sudden we role play this scene where he's like come upon by a demon, and he's like, "Can I swear a pact with you?"
Yeah.
I'd like to be a warlock now.
Or how about the time that Beryl just decides, I'm going to walk up to Groothog. The time he's like, oh yeah, I'll just walk up to it, disguised as a goblin.
We were all standing outside and like trying to plan our...
Thousands of feet away, mind you.
Yeah.
Thousands of feet away, you're seeing Groothog in the distance, and Beryl's like, I'm just going to walk up to it and get in there as a goblin. And I'm like, if this dungeon turns on you, you're dead.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It didn't.
And it didn't. And
it did it in the most miraculous way.
Yeah, and he ended up befriending the goblins in Groothog, getting them to his side. He basically incited like a workers' uprising. And then once we killed the hill giants in there and basically burned the whole place to the ground, the goblins didn't have anywhere to go. So they said, well, you seem to know what you're doing, Beryl. You said we're all going to get mansions. That's what you promised us. Okay, well, we're going to stick with the guy who's going to get us mansions.
And get mansions they did. Guys, I think this has been a wonderful episode of Table Talk Friday, but we are running into the 1 hour and 7 minute mark. So, if you liked what you heard today, guys, you can find us on Table Talk Friday. Well, I was going to say tabletalkfriday@gmail.com, but that doesn't make sense. You can find us at patreon.com/tabletalkfriday, where you can get the post show that we're about to record right after this, where we continue to talk more D&D, more stuff that's going on in our lives, and just... I think I have most fun. Like the show itself is amazing. The post show is amazing-er. So check out that post show at patreon.com/tabletalkfriday, as well as get next week's episode early. I mean, come on. You want to hear the stuff we've already recorded, right? Head over there. Subscribe. I mean, what? You don't got $5? Come on. And you can email us with any questions, comments, and concerns at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com, and that is 100% free. Send us an email with anything with your favorite character stories, anything that you've got, what you think of the terrain and campaign cases that came out this week. And with that, you can find us on TikTok at TableTalk Friday, YouTube at TableTalk Friday, and Twitter, where I tweet out all the time at TableTalk Friday. And with that again, well, the one and only Beryl has to take us out.
Well, I'm actually Zach Beryl, because Beryl couldn't be here, but yeah, I'll take you out. I cast Eldritch Blast. I think I get 3 of those right at the level I'm at. So let me just. That's the sound of dice. Oh wow, that's a nat 20. You're dead. Well, that was a 6. I don't think that one's gonna hit. Let's see if I get you, Drew. Well, that's a 17. So I'm gonna roll that damage. Oh, yeah. It looks like you're dead too. That's the end of the episode. I hope you all had a good one. Enjoy the post show.